Hi, this is Brian Montgomery with BenchMade Knives. We're in the BenchMade Test and Innovation Lab. We're going to be going over some of the features of the BenchMade 916 Triage. The 916 Triage is part of a family of triage knives at BenchMade. It's a manual folder. It comes with two different blade configurations. The 916 has a blunt tip and a reverse bevel on the blade. That reverse bevel allows for added strength throughout the length of the blade, so you can actually do some light prying, use it as a screwdriver if needed. It also features a carbide tip glass breaker on the rear of the knife, and each triage knife has an integrated rescue hook. It's made of N680 steel. It has full metal liners throughout the length of the knife handle, and it's got textured G10 scales on it. It comes in two colors, orange and black. In plain or Cerakoted, and either a traditional straight blade or a combo 50-50 serrated edge. This knife would appeal to specific customer bases, first responders, EMS, law enforcement, search and rescue teams. For example, extract somebody from a vehicle who's being combative or non-compliant. You can break the window with the carbide tip glass breaker and use the rescue hook to cut through the seatbelt and extract that person if need be. Additionally, this knife would appeal to marine units, those assigned to environments where there's working around water, inflatable craft, things like that, where you might not necessarily want a sharp tip instrument around your equipment. Narcotics units, traffic units, as I mentioned, search and rescue teams, and even flight crews have shown quite a bit of interest in this. In fact, they would have to extract themselves from a downed aircraft or from a vehicle. The 916 is not designed as a typical combat or fighting knife due to the blunt tip. You're not going to make a hole with that tip, but it is good for other utilitarian uses. This is not one of our typical folding knives. This is actually more of a multi-tool. This is our version of a multi-tool. It does solve quite a few problems. It's going to be different than some of the other multi-tools that you might see on the market, but certainly more unique in that it does have the integrated rescue hook right in the handle of the knife, reducing the need to purchase an additional hook. Now, that being said, an upsell point might be the fact that because it does not have a traditional fighting style blade or a combat style blade, units deploying into combat or law enforcement units might need an additional knife to solve that problem. And of course, we have a number of products to fit that description. One of the questions we got when we first introduced a triage, and in the intervening couple of years since then, was will there be an automatic version? And we're happy to announce we launched at SHOT Show this year the 9170, which is an automatic version of the triage. You can see that it is definitely a different blade style, a more aggressive fighting style blade for far different applications than the 916. It is an automatic, and in addition to the automatic blade, which comes either in a straight edge or in a serrated combo, the hook is also an automatic. And just like its cousin, it has a carbide tip glass breaker on the end. They changed the housing of the knife. Instead of a G10 handle with metal liners, they went with an aluminum frame, aluminum body, so they could actually create some space inside for the mechanisms. And then it has a G10 inlay on the handles. That inlay comes in either black or orange. The main body of the knife will always be black, and then you have the two options of black or orange for the inlays. Alright, one of the examples we thought of for using this blade for some prying is if an officer needed to retrieve some evidence, say a bullet slug from a wall, from a 2x4, from drywall, this will actually work. Now, we were able to simulate a bullet being lodged into a 2x4. We weren't allowed to do any live fire today at BenchMade, unfortunately, but this piece of metal is lodged in this wood pretty well, and I'm going to try and dig it out with my 916. As you can see, it took a little bit of work, but we were able to do it, and there is virtually no damage to the knife. As you see, we'll demonstrate here how easily a 916 rescue hook will go through 2-inch nylon webbing commonly found in seat belts. This is the 916 Triage. We're going to be testing the carbide tip glass breaker. We have some tempered glass. Stand by.